Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And tonight I want to talk to you a little bit about incantations and why incantations are so important within your rituals. Not just that they fit neatly into just about every aspect, from prayer, spell casting, cursing, you name it, it's there. Okay? So, why don't we break this down for just a moment? What is incantations? Okay. What is an incantation? An incantation is a phrase that is utilized within an attempt to create an alchemical change within the world. Okay. Depending upon the method being used, you can utilize an incantation as a form of worship, meaning prayer. Regular discussions between you and your patron or patroness. Okay, think of it as god or goddess, demon, angelic, the jinn, ugan, loa. Okay, and the such. Now, when you contact one of these spirits, a lot of times people just want to make a pact. They want to just sell something. Like their intent is to get rich and famous. But the purpose of an incantation is not that effect. Okay? And I'm going to tell you that right now. An incantation has nothing to do with selling your soul. It has nothing to do with the Illuminati. Okay? When you contact a demon or demoness, a demigod or god, goddess, whatever, your intent through religious worship or philosophical worship is to pray to that individual. Okay? And when you pray, this is a form of worship. Okay? Which means that you are communing in an act of incantation. Okay? Here, you are praying for them to come into your life. You are praying for some form of miracle to happen. Okay. And I use the term miracle very loosely here because a lot of traditions utilize the term miracle. Okay. Be it some form of spontaneous monetary gain, or perhaps some form of doors have spontaneously been flung open after praying to a spirit. Okay. And this has been known to happen. Okay. Especially if you hit that high note and gain popularity with a spirit. Okay. So, incantation is a form of worship in this case. Okay. The more you pray, the more you give your time, your offerings in a form of dedicated repetition. Okay. Of prayer through mantra, through meditation. Okay. This is a form of worship. It is a form of discipline. Okay. A disciplined form of meditation, especially if you're getting ready to do, say, for an example, separate from the original form of meditation and go into what is known as a higher plane of meditation. This is known as the void meditation. Okay. This is where you unleash your your soul, okay, your spirit, and you commune on your spiritual or astral altar, okay, with these spirits face to face. Okay. This can happen, and you can do this through complete dedication, commitment to sorcery. Okay? Now, as I said earlier, incantations are also a form of practice. Okay? Spell casting. Okay? So why don't we get into this for a few minutes? What does it mean to cast a spell? Okay? What does it mean to you? Okay? What is it that you are trying to put forth that you need an incantation for? An incantation could be a mantra. It could be a spell, perhaps some form of confirmation that it is done. Okay? Let's say, for an example, that you are at work and you just put your name in for that team lead position. Here, you want to visualize it. You want to feel as though it has already come to pass. And when you get to that point where you know without a shadow of a doubt that it has happened, then that incantation is put forth in an expression. It is done. Right there, you just, with those three, it is done. Three little words. It is done. Or so mote it be. So mote it be. Four-letter words right there. 3 to 4 letter words. Boom. Done. Okay? That's an incantation. Okay? So when you put something like this forth after petitioning a spirit of any class, of any kind for something, you want that act to be done. Therefore, the incantation must be spoken. It can be thought internally if you wish, if you desire, but in the income, you want to speak it. If you are doing, for an example, and this is something that came my way within the last 24 to 48 hours, okay? The last 24 to 48 hours. I had a individual come to me, okay? And the act was that this individual was talking smack. So the question was put forth, what kind of hex would you recommend to deal with this person? I said neither. Not curse, not hex, not jinx. The reason for it is this. They're going to defeat themselves any way you look at it. Number one, they're going to show the world who they and what they really are. Boom, it's a win for you. And two, it's hard to keep lies a secret. Okay? The more you spin those webs of lies. Okay? You look at what Ed Morrow has been doing for the better part of a year, if not more than this. Well, guess what? All his lies have built up to the point where it has literally come back to bite him in the ass. Okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Number one, people are seeing him for who he is, a fake. Somebody that's in it for ego and popularity. He's in it for the numbers. But he's also a con man. He's also a con man. He makes up stories when he doesn't get his own way. Well, guess what? His own business partner spoke out about him here on YouTube. Myself and several others have literally come onto Facebook, onto social media platforms, and spoken out about this individual. Right there, no curse was flung. No hex was flung. So therefore, according to Wiccans and pagans, the law of three does not apply. Why? Because we simply spoke truth and we backed up our statements with actual facts. Okay? So, right there, Once you've done something like that, and let's say, for an example, this individual needed to be cursed, okay? Number one, not every situation needs a curse, a hex, or a jinx. So therefore, why waste your energy on someone that's going to defeat themselves either way? You got to use wisdom here, especially in that location and on that topic. But let's say, for an example, that there is an individual that needs to have a curse or a hex placed on them. Okay? An incantation is a form of spell casting. Okay? And this is where this comes into play. When you've gotten all your ingredients together, when you've gotten all your ducks in a row, you've gone in, you have some form of sympathetic magic going on here. Okay? Let's say hate to hate. Let's say, for example, you're using, in the old days, you would be using fingernail clippings, hair, something that they've touched, something that has their DNA on it. But nowadays, because we're on social media, it's so easy to go underneath somebody's profile and download a photo of that individual. Okay? It really is. And you can print that individual's photo out. Number one, that links. That is sympathetic magic. That is linking that photo to that particular website. Okay? That particular profile. Even further, it is linking your spell to that individual. All right? So here, the sympathetic magic is linking that spell. So as you link that spell and you're envisioning what you want to happen, okay, you're speaking the words, okay? And in this case, let's say, for an example, how should I say this? Let's say, for an example, you want to place a jinx on this individual, okay? Let them have nothing but bad luck, okay? So therefore, when you're doing this, there are two aspects here. One, are they superior in knowledge and wisdom than you? Are they a better mage or sage, magi, okay, than you? A witch or warlock? Have they have more experience, okay, and understanding of the craft than you? If so, never attack directly, okay? And second of all, if they're inferior, flat out destroy them, okay? Just go right out and do it. All right. That is sympathetic magic for you right there. You're able to do this one way or the other. But you want to make sure that if they're superior to you, let's say, for an example, let's take the biggest name out there today. Let's say EA Kowedding. Okay. He has one hell of a fan base. Okay. He's put out probably about 15 books. Okay, about 15 to 20 books already in just the 4 or 5 years that he has been right here on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, social media in general. But you consider from what a practitioner they can have up to 30 years, if not more. They could be practicing since birth in a hereditary family line. Okay, they could be growing up in a coven setting, okay? Or in what he's already stated point blank is that he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars traveling the world and learning from different gurus. Now, obviously, somebody like me who has been around for, like, say, 30 years of practice, dedication, research, you name it, I've done it within these fields, okay? But I haven't done everything. And I want to point that out, publicly right there. Obviously, I would not be foolish enough to take him on one-on-one. Okay? That would be like a beginner going up against a Grand Magus. Okay, a Grand Magus. That would be stupid and suicidal. Okay, that would be like having, type thing. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to attack directly. Okay, so the best thing that you could do in this case, if they were superior to you, would be to throw out the fact, all right, this individual has wronged me. Okay, right there, that is the justice aspect. The need for the injustice of it. So you are looking for justice. So here, you've already established that you've been wronged. So from here, it is a matter of linking. You can use candle wax, graveyard dirt, your basic tools that black magicians know to place curses, hexes, and jinxes on an individual. And like I said, you can use Facebook profiles, a photo of somebody. You can use something like an article of clothing, anything from their own DNA that you can use to attack them, okay, to link that spell to them. And as you do, you're envisioning, you're chanting your will, your intent through an incantation. And then at the very end, you want to look at them and go, hey, guess what? This individual be cursed, be damned, be whatever, be jinxed, you name it, okay? Right there, that's an incantation. You are confirming, and it's an affirmation that that is done. You see it done. It is done. It was done yesterday. Okay? That is an incantation, and that's the thought form, the state of mind that you need to be in when doing an incantation. But if they are lesser, all you need to do is just simply look at them and say, I curse you. And they're cursed. You can use anything from the book of Psalms in the Bible. You see, up until S. Connolly put out a book called Cursing and Hexing, I had no idea that you can utilize the Bible. Okay? I mean, who would have thought? Use scripture from the Bible to curse. And here I am using these old tools, these old school formulations through incantations, rituals, and ceremonies to do what I do. Hmm. Something as simple as the book of Psalms. Amazing. See, that just goes to show you that number one, you don't know everything. Number two, an incantation can be anything from a mantra and meditation. For an example, let's look at it as let's say you're a Satanist, okay, and you're doing a demonic N or a demonic mantra. So, one of the phrases that I like to use personally when I'm meditating to, say, Astaroth, Beelzebub, Lucifer, any number of the beings that I work with from demonolatry, I would sit there while I'm meditating and envision what I'm doing. So I would use an incantation in a form of a mantra. In nomine di nostri satanae luciferi excelsi. And I would repeat it in a form of repetition. Okay? Just keep going. And I'd add in, say, for an example, in domasti order metasium, momento mori, which is, a different saying. And then I would bring in nomine spiritus mundi est, and then I would state that spirit's name that I want to connect to. Okay? While envisioning myself coming face to face with that spirit. My intent. What am I going for? Why am I wanting to get in touch with that spirit? And then that would be the affirmation. Okay? I call you forth to hear my plea. Affirmation. The need, the intent. Okay? The incantation. To hear my intent. And then you can take it further and say, open the doors for such a topic. Okay? As above, so below, so mote it be. Right there, you just did a ritual. Right there, you just did an incantation. Right there, you put through your intent through spell casting. Okay? Through ritual, through meditation. Another way is when you utilize songs. How many of you, I know a lot of people out there have been getting into music, okay? You look back in history, Anton Sandor played the organ. He was one hell of an organ player, okay? I guarantee it. You could probably find him playing the organ right here on YouTube, okay? I actually recommend you look it up, okay? You'll like it. He was very, very good. All right. But he was also very good at playing mind games. Okay. His essays within Satan Speaks and the Devil's Notebook flat out speak to this. So I'm not going to get into that aspect. No. What I am going to show you is that by the time you get into the TST, the temple, the Satanic Temple, okay, the first court appearance that I caught on YouTube by them, by an ambassador of that temple. The guy was dressed head to toe in a brown robe. Okay, one of the old friar tuck type robes, the friar robes, and he's standing there, and he just starts singing. He starts singing. Okay, this in itself is another form of incantation. So again, you're seeing a different method of utilizing an incantation. This guy, don't get me wrong, this guy had a hell of a voice. One hell of a voice, and trust me, I was impressed. That was like listening to, say for an example, Lauren Alana or Carrie Underwood. Maybe let's say for an example, Mariah Carey or Shakira, even. Okay, those type of singers. Okay, where they just put it out there. This was crossed between a tenor and a what's that other one? Oh, frig. My mind's a complete blank right now. But yeah, you know what I mean. The tenor and the other one there, soprano. There we go. The tenor and the soprano. Okay, but at the same time, he didn't hold punches when he sang. He did it with an intent, and he had just about every freaking Christian in that courtroom praying against him. Why? Because his intent was to be noticed. His intent was to set that bar, which was his religious and philosophical belief structure, freedom of religion. Okay? And here, he did his incantation in the form of a musical song. Okay? So as you can see, incantation plays into rituals, meditation, singing, okay, even prayer. And I can tell you right now, there's so much more than an incantation can go into. So for all you neophytes, acolytes, you beginners, right up into the adept, I want you to have that firm understanding of what an incantation is, okay, and why it's so closely tied into so many different occult and practices of magic, sorcery. It's not just tied into a philosophical belief structure. It's not just tied into a religious belief structure. No, there is so much that it goes into. And now that you have that understanding, you can go out and do your own research into these things. And I did give you a few pointers, okay? Gave you a few references. I gave you a few individuals that you can look up. Now, personally, I am not a big fan of the Satanic Temple. I don't really care much for them. I find them to be a cult. If you're not part of our little organization, we're not going to help you, but we're going to fight for all this stuff because it's our religious belief. Wow. What about everybody else? You know? So I'm not a big fan of them, but it doesn't mean that I don't respect them. They do have the balls, the cojones, to go into Congress and fight. They do have the gall to get up and go into a courtroom and say, hey, this is our religious belief structure. You are violating that. So I do have respect for them. I may not like them. I may disagree with their methods. But that's it. Okay? Now, for everything else, like I said, you can look them up. And I want you to remember two key pointers here. Number one, whatever you preach, always back it up with multiple facts, references, and always make yourself available to the public. All right? With that said, have a good night. And until next time, I'm out.